So what we're going to do in this video is refresh our understanding of place value, but we're going to dig a little deeper and think about place value in the context of decimals. So just as a refresher, if I had the number 654, this should be easy. The 4 is in the ones place. But if I moved one place left, we would go to the tens place. And as you notice, we went from ones to tens. Tens are 10 times as much as ones. And then we move one space to the left of that, we go to the, we multiply by tens again. We get to the 100 space. And the 6 just doesn't represent 6, we could write that as 600, or write that as 600. And similarly the 5 just doesn't represent 5. It represents 5 tens or 50. And this 4 represents 4 ones, so it actually does represent 4. But as I promised, we are now going to extend our understanding. So we're going to put a decimal point after the 4, which you've probably seen before at the right. And the reason why we even need a decimal point is to really tell us where our ones place is. We say, okay, if we go right to the left of the decimal, that's going to be our ones space, because once we start introducing decimals, we can introduce as many spaces as we want to the right of the decimal. And let's think about those a little bit. If we went from hundreds to tens, notice we divided by 10. And when we go from tens to ones, notice we divided by 10. And what place do you think the arrow is pointing to? If you don't know, here's a hint. What happens if you take 1 divided by 10? Well, 1 divided by 10 equals 1/10. So that would be the tenths place. And then if you were to go one place to the right of the tenths place, what would that place be? It would be tenths divided by 10, or 1/10 of a tenth. So this would be a hundredth, or the hundredths place. And then if you were to go one space to the right, we could keep doing this forever, but if we were to go one space to the right of that, what would it be? Well, a hundredth divided by 10, or 1/10 of a hundredth is a thousandth. So that would be the thousandths place. And so for example, if I were to extend this number instead of it just being 654, if I were to write 654.321, what do these numbers, these digits represent? This 3 just doesn't represent 3, it represents 3/10. Or another way of writing 3/10 would be 0.3. You just have a 3 in the tenths place. Or you could write it as 3/10. And the 2, I think you get where this is going, this doesn't just represent 2, it represents 2 hundredths. Another way to write that is to just write a 2 in the hundredths place. So we're going 2 spaces to the right of the decimal. Or write it as 2/100. 2 hundredths. And what do you think the 1 represents? What are all the different ways of writing this one? Pause the video and find out. Okay. The 1 is 1,000th. You could also write it as 0.001. Or you can also write 1/1000. So I hope this math lesson taught you on how to do decimal place value. Thanks for watching this math lesson, and I'll see you later.